Hi, good evening, and welcome to our pre-registration day chat. My name is Sherry Obrentz. I'm an associate dean in the Office for Undergraduate Education. And welcome
My name is Michael Kim, the Director of Orientation for Enrollment College. We're really excited for you all over the next couple of weeks. Obviously, you're registering this week for classes, and then in just a little bit, you'll be on campus here for orientation and to really get your Emory experience started. So we're really excited to work with you all over the next couple of weeks to make sure that you're off to a great start. So you all just received an email from us. If you haven't checked your email inbox, please do so, where we sent just a couple of brief reminders as you all prepare for tomorrow. So we're going to walk through those and kind of elaborate on some of them, give you some additional tips and pieces of advice. We want to make sure that we're using that as kind of our launching pad for today's conversation. So the first one is that only half of the class will take a freshman seminar in the fall. So we know there are a lot of really great options out there for freshman seminars. Some of them sound really, really interesting, but also know that some of the class won't be able to take them in the fall, right? There's also going to be enough space in the spring if you're not going to be able to take them in the fall. So just understand that. Put lots of options in your shopping cart, but if you're not able to get the one that you want, please know there's another opportunity to do so.
Yeah, a few more just follow-ups about the first-year seminars. One, they only count for the first-year seminar requirement, so they will not count for majors or minors. If there's a reason that you actually want to explore a department, this is a great way to do that. If you know you're going to already take a lot of other intro courses in a department, you might want to choose a seminar in something totally different. The other thing we really want to remind you is that you can only enroll in one first-year seminar. So if multiple are open during your registration time, that's great, but just pick one and the one that fits. An add-drop swap is actually going to give a lot of people an opportunity to change things around. So you might see that something that you're really interested in, first-year seminar, others are closed this week and they could open up. So keep things in your shopping cart because if something becomes open, you'll definitely be able to pick that up during the add-drop swap period.
So the next point that we have for you all is that some of our most popular intro courses, such as Econ 101, 112, Math 111, 112, Psych, are offered every semester, and spring is not that far away.
Yeah. So there are some courses that are fall only or potentially in Emory's summer school. The fall only courses are typically our introductory science courses: Biology 141, Chemistry 150, Physics 141, Physics 151. Meaning that if you wanted to take any of those courses, you'd need to start this fall because they're not offered again in the spring. The part 2 of those courses are offered in the spring. If you're not ready to start with one of those courses, you will wait until next fall. Or if you're interested in Emory Summer School, that would be an option. All of the courses that Michael just mentioned, econ, psychology, math, computer science, are offered every single semester, and many even in the summer. So if you don't get into something that you're really interested in or getting started, remember you have your first year to get started on so many different things, including your general education requirements or a major or minor department that might be of interest to you. So waiting one semester is not going to put you behind in any way.
So I'm also answering questions via the chat, and so I'm going to go in between having this conversation with Dean Obrentz, and then also answering some of your questions as well. Remembering that Health 100 and PACE 101 are required this fall. So these are 2 classes that you're going to have to take this fall. They'll be great classes. PACE 101, which we work pretty closely with, actually very closely with the PACE 101 course, is really meant to assist in your transition and really support you throughout your first semester here. And your Health 100 class is really providing you with all of the resources and opportunities to understand how you live a healthy life here at Emory, and then also in your entire life as well.
So just a few other updates on those classes. You can pick any section that fits your schedule. I'd probably recommend waiting until you have some of your other academic or core classes enrolled in so you know where to fit in PACE or Health. We do ask that you enroll in one section of each by Friday, even if your schedule is going to change. So just make sure that you enroll in one of those. One other note about Health and PACE, once you're enrolled in a section, you won't be able to drop it. You can, however, swap it. And so if you try to drop PACE once you're enrolled, you'll get an error message saying you need permission to do that. Just use the swap function instead and find another section that fits your schedule.
So one of the questions that's coming up right now is how exactly do you enroll? And so what we're going to do is we're going to loop a video that will show you the process to enroll from your shopping cart and from Opus. And so take a look at this video. We're going to continue answering questions and having that conversation, but we know that's a big question that's coming up for you all right now.
And I'll say, as you're watching the video, I've talked to a lot of students this summer. I know other pre-registration guides have also talked to so many of you. We've really been encouraging you to use your shopping cart like an Amazon wish list. So if you think something's interesting, go ahead and put it in your shopping cart. There's no limit to your shopping cart. You don't need to manage your shopping cart to say, oh, maybe, maybe not. But it's going to make the registration process much, much easier. Starting tomorrow, when you log in and you actually register for your courses, you will see what's actually open. So if you've been really worried about that or trying to anticipate how many seats are left, it won't really matter until you're in the system in real time. But registering from the shopping cart, so selecting those classes that are actually open is going to be the key. Reminder again, tomorrow, the first day of registration, you are limited to only 8 credits. So 8 credits is probably 2 classes. You might be able to throw in a health or a PACE or a lab depending on how many credits you've registered. But for most of you, that's going to be 2 academic courses. Starting on Tuesday, you're going to be able to enroll in the rest of your credits. So that's a max of 19. No first-year students are going to be allowed to take more than 19 credits. The minimum number of credits that you could take is 12. But very few of you are going to go that low. We really want you to stay in that sweet spot of 16 to 19 credits. That's for a number of reasons. 1, we want you to eventually graduate in a number of semesters, so that kind of keeps you on track. 2, that also gives you enough wiggle room so that if you needed to withdraw from a course, and we know nobody thinks that they're going to sign up and withdraw, but again, safety net, that you would have enough credits to always maintain 12 if you needed to do that. So 16 to 19 credits is your sweet spot. At the very minimum, by Friday, you should be enrolled in at least 12. But 16 to 19 will be where most people end up by the end of registration.
Awesome. So there are a couple questions that are coming up consistently that we want to try and answer for you all. One is, what time do you register? And so this is your enrollment appointment time that's in Opus. And so if you've gone through a pre-registration guide meeting, we've kind of gone through the process of finding your enrollment time, but we'll review it once again just so you're aware of what that is. And so you'll go to your Opus, you'll log in, and I believe it's the academic progress?
Nope, it's the course enrollment, course selection and enrollment tiles. So it's the big long one. It's the same one where your shopping cart is. You guys should be very, very familiar with this. When you click into that course selection and enrollment tile, those little boxes are called tiles, there's going to be a left navigation pane. The very last thing on the navigation pane are enrollment appointments. Click on that. And once you click on that, you will see August 13th, that's tomorrow, August 14th, Tuesday, and August 27th. So let's talk about those times a little bit. Everybody's been assigned randomly start times, okay? And so the August 13th start times will start pretty early in the morning, and they're staggered throughout, so it's okay if your start time is different than another person's. Everybody's times are Eastern Standard Time. So if you're on the West Coast, sorry, that's a little early for you. If you're international, it might be really, really late for you. We know that. But remember, they're all Eastern Standard Time. On Monday, all appointments, no matter when your start time is, will close at 3 p.m. Again, Eastern Standard Time. So once you've gotten your 6, 7, or 8 credits done for Monday, you are good. You can rest easy, breathe a sigh of relief. That's all you got to do on Monday. If you look on Tuesday the 14th, you should see a different start time. Nobody's start times are exactly the same Monday and Tuesday. Again, Eastern Standard Time, staggered starts so that you guys don't crash the system. This appointment's actually open all the way through Friday the 17th at 3 p.m. So you're going to do your best to get those open classes, but now we're in real time of registration. And so it is okay for you to log into Opus maybe daily or every few hours if there's something that you're looking for or you're hoping that there's a change, because there's a good chance that other people are changing their schedules. Again, 19 is going to be the very max, and so sometimes you might see an error message saying, too many credits, you can't do that, and you want to make sure you stay within that. Another question that comes up a lot is about courses that are waitlisted. Waitlisted courses do not, I repeat, do not count as enrollment. So if you put yourself on a waitlist, that is not going toward those 19 credits. We really want you to focus on open courses first, ones that actually show up in your schedule. And then if you need to enroll in something on a waitlist, you can choose the option to drop if or swap if there's a conflict, either a time conflict or a total number of credit conflict that you have to resolve. If you add yourself to a waitlist first and then create a conflict either with the number of credits or another class that you enroll in, the waitlist is going to skip over you. So it's really, really important that you actually get open classes first and then consider waitlist courses.
Great. So just looking through some of the other questions that are out there. So will classes that currently stay closed be open tomorrow?
It will depend in real time. And so all of the limits now have been open for first year spots. So I know over the summer people were really concerned about seminars or first year writings. We kept those closed earlier on purpose. We didn't want sophomores, juniors, and seniors taking your spots. All of those should be open. But starting tomorrow morning with your enrollment appointments, we are operating in real time. And so you will know as you're in the system if a class is open or closed. Again, green circles mean open, blue squares mean closed, yellow triangles mean waitlist. And so just being aware of those, just because something's closed doesn't mean it will stay closed forever. Same thing for the waitlist. You could be number 1 on a waitlist and never get off. You potentially could be number 50 and get into the class. So although you want to know your odds, we can't know that. We won't know that. So, yeah.
Can you talk a little bit about the difference with courses that have a Z attached to it? So,
absolutely. Yeah, there are a few classes that are designated with Z, and that means they're for first year students only. And so it's the same content as other classes. 112Z, for example, Calc 2. Content-wise is the same, but it's just for first year students. And so that's what you will be looking for.
Some questions are out there about, so we have things for GERs, we have first year requirements, what else should we be thinking about taking? And really this is an opportunity to explore. And so if you're interested in a particular track like pre-health, thinking about some of the classes that may count towards that track, but also if you just don't know, think about what's exciting out there, what could be something different for you. Really using this first semester as an opportunity to explore and really honing up some of your interests is a really great idea.
Yeah. If you guys who've been through the pre-registration guide process, everybody should have downloaded that pre-registration guide worksheet. And on that worksheet, we gave you all of the GER categories and spaces to list 4 or 5 classes for the fall and 4 or 5 classes for the spring. It's not because we know that you're going to take 5 HSEs or 5 HAPs in any given semester. This was really about exploration so that you guys understand that there are so many options to fulfill these requirements. And we hear this time and time again from students that sometimes the best classes were kind of on a whim or a surprise or something that was open that fulfilled a GER. So keep an open mind about those. I've said this a lot of times, but it's worth saying again. Everything counts for something at this point. Whether it is a GER or maybe not a GER, you still need academic credits. So nothing that you take this semester or this year will be a waste of time because they're all going towards your ultimate goal of graduation and academic credits. So I'm seeing some questions about courses that are appropriate for first year students. For the most part, you are all looking at 100 and 200 level courses. No need to explore those 300 and 400s. You will get there, we promise, when you're juniors and seniors, maybe even sophomores. The exception to that might be with some language placement. And so if you have an interest in a language and that department has actually given a placement exam, about half of the languages do, they will place you appropriately, and sometimes you might start at a 300 level. Other than that, first year students are 100 and 200 level courses. You also really want to be on the lookout for courses that have prerequisites. So some of them might have prerequisites like Econ 112, which is macro, needs micro first. Other 100 level courses don't have an order, so the numbers don't always make sense. Psych 110 and 111, for example, are both intro courses. You can take them in either order. So you really want to read through the course atlas, and under the descriptions of the course or related courses, it will tell you if there's a prerequisite needed. A lot of prerequisites are also fulfilled by your AP score, so AP, IB, previous college credit. This is a great time to mention that you only can bring or use 12 actual credits from your AP or IB exams, but some of you might have taken more than that, and that's okay. If they've all been submitted to admission, even if you're not using them for credit, they can still be used for placement. That question's come up a lot as well. So as long as they're all posted. We have been in close communication with admission. We know that some scores have not yet posted. And so if that's the case for you and you've submitted them before this week, right, so over a week ago, please follow up with admission.processing@emory.edu. That's posted all through the pre-registration guide materials. But it's important because they have been uploading things in real time and keeping track of those scores. We know this is kind of confusing because you're getting things sent from a third party to admission. So things do get lost in electronic mail as well. It's good for you to keep up with those.
There was a question out here about what was to be available later. Definitely the recording will have it posted later, so you can refer to it after we're done here as well. So the validation process. So when you have a bunch of options in your shopping cart right now, and obviously there are going to be some times that conflict with each other. But the validate button in Opus is a really great way to make sure that the schedule that you have, all the times are able to work with and not conflict with each other. So that's something that's really helpful as well. There's also a question out there about how much time you should schedule in between courses. And some of that is dependent on where your courses are, right? And so if you have two courses that are next to each other in terms of a building, and sometimes you may not be able to quite figure that out until you get on campus. We recommend being able to walk around and find your classes, and there's time to do that during orientation. But if you're on campus here, maybe White Hall, which is a big classroom building, but then you have to go over to where the biology classes are happening, you may need a little bit more time. And so sometimes you really just kind of have to walk your schedule when you get here and to really determine how much classes.
On the other hand, our campus is pretty walking friendly and accessible. So I think the furthest building from point to point might be a 15-minute walk, but if you're faster than I am, then you could even get there in 10. So I wouldn't cause that too much trouble for now, getting those classes, and as Michael said, you'll walk it. There are a few more questions again about the AP and IB questions, so I want to revisit this again. Sure. For first year writing, anybody who is bringing in credits for first year writing, so that's English Lang or English Lit, or the IB higher levels as well, those do have to be counted for credits. And so you will want to make sure if admission didn't pick that one for credits for you, you will use their swap form to do that. It will only count for the first year writing if you use those specifically for credits. For the rest of them, as I mentioned before, sometimes those courses, even if they're 0 credits, can still be used for placement. As long as you get all of your scores posted through admission, you will have lots of time throughout this whole semester to make the swaps. So I don't want you guys worrying about that for pre-registration. That's not going to hold you up. The key now is just getting those credits posted onto your Opus account. Another thing about permission numbers, some courses might have permission numbers. I see this one about chemistry. That actually is being taken down for that particular section, so we're working on that for chemistry. But for other courses, if there is a permission number, you will need to contact the department directly in order to get that permission number. All of the advising tips on that registration, on our registration website, actually have a department contact for whom you can contact. So just be aware our faculty are still on, many of them are still on summer vacation, and so permission numbers, although there's usually someone responding to emails, might take a few days for response for that.
So some questions about the registration process for the spring semester that will work similarly to what you're doing now.
Yeah, so you actually won't register for spring until November 19th, so 3 months or so away. Again, we're getting you thinking about spring now, just knowing that things are going to be offered in the spring as well. But the full course atlas will not be posted until October. Right now, if you go to the course atlas, there is a spring 2019 tab. And a lot of classes are posted, but it's not 100%. So if you want an idea of things that are there, that's great. You can always look back at the archives of the course atlas as well to see last spring, so spring 2018, to get an idea. It's not a perfect system, but pretty good. So for now, you do not have to worry about spring semester. We are just helping you register for the fall. We promise you'll have lots of time to think about spring this entire fall semester.
Just advice on what classes to enroll in first tomorrow?
Yeah. So there is a little bit of strategy, but luckily for you all, with 1,443 students, we know you have really different interests. So I would say, first, if there's a first-year seminar that you really, really like or are interested in, and it's open on the first day, grab it. That would be something that I would prioritize. If you're an athlete, if you're going to have a job, if there's a time constraint and you really need a particular section of a course, I would grab that too when it's open. A lot of times there are multiple sections of courses, so there might be seats in others, but not at the time that you want. So if you're really tied to a particular time, that would be another thing to prioritize on day one. You're not going to be able to prioritize all of them. Again, it's 2 classes. So, and we do this staggered so that everybody has a fair shot about getting kind of at least 1 or 2 things that they really, really want or need. A few thoughts about big classes. Biology and chemistry will have room for everybody. Again, might not be exactly the times that you want, but there will be spaces for everybody in those courses. Things like Math 111, Psych, Econ, there might be spaces that you have to take in the spring. So that's why we mentioned those other courses that are offered every single semester. Other than that, on the 19th, on the 14th, on day 2, again, it's whatever is open to round out your schedule. And knowing that registration is open all the way till Friday at 3 p.m., you're still going to be able to make changes this week. The next time that you're able to register is actually August 27th and 28th. That's when you're here on campus during orientation. It's also the day that you meet with your pre-major faculty advisor, that faculty member who's going to welcome you to campus and check your schedule. We've reserved this day so that only first-year students can make changes to their schedules, so that's really nice. And then the fun truly begins on August 29th. That's the first day of class, and then it's the first day of add, drop, swap. So this is a whole week-long period where almost every student is going to make some kind of change to their schedule, if not dramatic changes to their schedule. So you can attend classes, you can meet faculty, you can see how it's going to make that determination. I know that things will open up and change literally in real time, and so we say this again and again and again. Registration is a process, not an event. So you kind of have to go with that iterative process that things are going to happen along the way.
So if you end up dropping a class after a few weeks, will it affect your GPA negatively? So maybe withdrawal.
Withdrawal, yeah, policy. Great question. So we've talked a lot about the add, drop, swap period. So between tomorrow, the 13th, and September 5th, the end of add, drop, swap, you're going to be making changes to your schedule, which is absolutely great. And there's no official record of the drops of those courses. So if you change something or want to switch into another section, that's absolutely fine. Add, drop, swap ends on Wednesday, September 5th. So that's 1 week of classes at 11:59 p.m. After that time, so maybe in the first few weeks or really up through the 6th week of class, you could withdraw from a course. That's a withdrawal, not a drop. As long as you still maintain 12 credit hours. So again, that goes back to that needing 16 to 19 hours. You need enough padding in your schedule that if you needed to drop or withdraw from a class, you could still maintain 12 credit hours. If you withdraw from a class, again, after the add, drop, swap period, this is a withdrawal, not a drop, a W will appear on your transcript as your final grade. But this has no negative effect on your GPA. So a W is just a grade, kind of a placeholder that says you didn't finish that course, but it will not negatively impact your GPA or really your record in any case. And there are lots of good reasons to withdraw from a class. So there will be advisors available to talk to you about whether, if that comes up and you need to do that, whether that's an option for you. think there continue to be questions about how to go through the add drop swap process, where my enrollment appointment times are posted. Those are all on the Registration 101 website, and there's also a video scrolling through right now that should show you that process. Not anymore, but it was up. You can rewatch this video. It's all online too. So if you go, just Google's my favorite tool at Emory. I call him Dr. Google. So Googling new student programs Emory, go to the first year students registration dropdown. There are so many amazing resources there about OPUS, short videos, PDFs with screenshots that will take you through everything, we promise. Again, your registration times are in the same tile where your shopping cart is. So click on that course enrollment and planning tile, and then click on enrollment appointments for your specific times.
Just a quick question about swapping certain courses in the first few weeks. So the PACE and the Health 100 courses are not able to be dropped, but you can certainly swap into other sections because those are required to take in your fall semester. Does the AP Chem credit include the lab and the lecture class?
Yeah, so good question. AP Chem does include 150 lecture and lab. AP Biology does not. So if you're taking your AP Biology credit, you still need to take 141 lab this fall if you wish to continue with biology any other semester. Chemistry does include both. Yeah. All of our AP courses come in as 3 credits. So that might be different than if you actually end up taking the course here. Sometimes students think that they're going to use their AP class, but then end up taking the course here anyway. You won't get double credit to graduation, but you can always drop your AP credits later. I don't suggest doing that until you actually have taken a class or decided that you're not going to take the class. So for now, keep all those AP scores, IB scores, previous college credits posted, and you will have time in your first year to make those decisions about what you might need to drop or want to drop.
Question about immunization forms. And so immunizations forms, we're working with Student Health Services to communicate to you all, but also know that it will not affect your enrollment for this particular semester, but in the spring semester it will. And so making sure you get your paperwork in and your documentation in as soon as possible so we're not encountering any challenges in the fall semester.
I see a few questions about the number of credits that courses count. Does it matter if things are only 3 credits? Absolutely not. So some courses will be 3 credits, some might be 4, some will be 5. These really depend on the contact hours of the class. That's again why we give you a range of what you're shooting for your total credits, so 16 to 19. It could be for a student who's taking only 3 credit classes, you're enrolled in 5 academic courses. For a student taking biology and chemistry and an intro language course, that might only be 3 because they're 5 credits each. And so it really depends on what you're taking. You don't have to count those up exactly if that's you. Everybody's going to be a little bit different, and that's okay. And if you're worried about that, or you don't think you have enough, or you think you have too many, again, you're going to have lots of time to talk to faculty members, your pre-major faculty advisor, orientation leaders, your RA, your SA will be around. So for now, let's just get those credits, get yourself enrolled in those credits, and you will absolutely have time to make those decisions. But if most of your courses are 3 credits, that's absolutely fine.
Some questions coming up about languages. We actually have a language website. We just posted a link to that. That'll review all the languages and information available for them. Not all courses require placement tests. Some of the more popular courses will require placement tests. But if you haven't received information from the department about what class you should be in, what should the next step be?
The next step should just be following up with the department. Now, be careful. If you took a placement exam 2 or 3 weeks ago, absolutely please follow up with them first thing in the morning just to see. If you took a placement exam today or 2 days ago, it's going to take a little bit of time to get that response. So we've been promoting taking placement exams since early July or late June. And it's okay if you're not there yet or you didn't do it yet, but you will not get an immediate response to that. So go ahead and take the exams. Under the Advising Tips PDF on that registration website, there are contacts listed for everything, or for every department that you can follow up on. Most of these, if you take them in this week, will be graded by the time you come for orientation. So if that's something you're interested in, probably not in time for tomorrow or this week's registration, but definitely during the orientation period. So take those placement exams. Another course that a lot of students will take, although it's not required for many, is Chemistry 150. They don't have a placement exam, but they do have a prep assignment through Alex that anybody taking that course will have to complete. We recommend getting that done now. Nobody wants to spend their last nights of orientation staying up late finishing Alex. So go ahead if you're interested in that Chem 150 and get that done. AP and IB credits do not count towards your 19 credits you're enrolled in. Again, those are credits that you're bringing in. That was a question, not things that you're enrolling in. So the 19 credits are going to be actual courses you're enrolling in this fall. So yeah, anything that's previous won't be counted.
Some questions out there about prerequisites, just general information about what's needed for courses. Course Atlas is going to be your best friend for a lot of these questions, and so all the courses that are available are listed there, and there's information there about prerequisites, things that are needed for those courses. So we recommend that you really take a hard look at the Course Atlas to make sure that you have all the information that's out there that's available for particular courses.
I will also say there's a question about, are all seminars 3 credits? Yeah, all first year seminars are 3 credits, but if you look at any given course within the Course Atlas, it gives you great information, not only the days that it meets, the times, the locations, the instructors. It also gives you the GER tag, the General Education Requirement tag, and the total number of credits for that course. So these are great questions, but you guys have the resources in the Course Atlas to help guide you through this.
A quick specific question about QTM 100. So you can put QTM 100 in your cart without putting in a permission number.
No, it shouldn't be. I believe that permission number just shows you in the shopping cart. There should not be permission numbers associated with QTM 100. If for whatever reason there all are, we will know very quickly tomorrow and we will work to fix it. But that shouldn't be an issue about QTM 100.
You want to talk about PACE? You have some
Yes.
questions about what PACE is.
Absolutely. So PACE is our favorite class because it's our class. Yay! Really, PACE, as Michael mentioned at the beginning, is a class about transition. We know that we have thrown so much information at you over the summer, and you guys have done great with it. You're doing so well with your Emory Essentials. You are totally on point with getting everything done that we've asked you to do. Orientation is going to be the next big opportunity for you to really learn about Emory and all the opportunities and resources. But we absolutely know you will not remember everything you need in 4 days. And so PACE gives you an opportunity to continue to learn about policies, procedures, resources, and opportunities. And we've really spaced it out intentionally throughout the semester to give you the information that you need. PACE is also in pretty small classes. They're capped at 19 students. They're all taught by an Emory staff person, either in the college or Campus Life. And they also have a peer leader in the classroom, so an upperclassman who has been in your shoes and will be a really great resource for you too. So PACE is 1 credit, but it's pass-fail. Really, if you show up and you do the things that we ask you to do, you will pass the class, so that's good. But we're really excited about PACE and all that it has to offer.
So a question about if you're already enrolled in QM 150 and PACE through STEM Pathways, do those count towards 8 credits tomorrow?
Yes.
They do count towards those 8 credits.
Yep, you got an email. If you're in STEM Pathways, you received a specific email on Friday that explains all of the information you need to know. So please read your Emory or personal email about that.
A question about if you pick a specific PACE course with the same advisor. A lot of those people are teaching PACE courses, so if you want to see that person in real life over the course of the semester and it works with your schedule, so feel free to do so.
Yeah, absolutely. We both teach PACE.
Yes. It's a blast, I'm telling you.
It's fun. It's my highlight of my fall semester, so really fun. So there are some questions about textbooks. So there are different philosophies about how you want to go about textbooks. If you are 100% sure you're going to take this class, you know that you need it, no problem, you can go ahead and connect with our Barnes & Noble or potentially find your own class books on Amazon or somewhere else. I would say really be careful about editions. So we know that sometimes Amazon gives you a really cheap option. But if it's an earlier edition or really used, you'll want to check with the professors of the class to see if that will fulfill the needs of the class. A lot of students wait and buy all their textbooks once they're here or once they really know about their schedule. that's okay as well. So always know your return policy. Keep your receipts. Really, really important to keep receipts, especially in the digital age. Know the window in which you're allowed to return things or swap, because there definitely are time limits for those as well. A few more things just about Emory Essentials and the things coming up. The most helpful Emory Essentials to get you ready for tomorrow were Emory Essentials 1 and 2. The rest of them, 3 through, I don't know the rest of the numbers, are really important that you complete before you come to campus for orientation. But if you had your pre-registration guide really early, maybe the week of July 16th, and you're like, what did we talk about? Going back through Emory Essentials is probably going to be really helpful for you. And also, I've probably given a shout out to this beautiful website that New Student Programs has done, but the registration website on the New Student Programs page is so helpful. It probably has more information that you want, and maybe that's why you're not clicking through. But spend a little bit of time there, click on those resources. They are very, very helpful. Also designed and approved by our upperclassmen, our orientation captains, who said, this is what you guys need to know. Math 115 is actually not a course that's offered at Emory anymore, and so if that's something that you need, Math 116 is the part 2 to that, so double check with that.
So question about the Common Reading. So it is a program that is developed in order for the community, the Emory community, to have shared conversations over particular subjects. It's designed by the Emory Integrity Project to really bring up conversations of integrity here on our campus. And so we strongly recommend that you read this, because there's going to be a lot of programming associated with it when you come to campus in the fall.
A few more questions about people who have already been enrolled in a PACE section. There are very few of you who will fit this bill, but if so, it's because you're either in a specific residence life program that requires that, or you're in STEM pathways that you've requested it. So go back to your emails about why that might be the case. If something comes up and you need to swap out of that section, you will be able to do a swap in your first or second periods of registration. So that's okay to do. This is a great question. I'm an undecided student. Where do I start? A lot of you are undecided, so do not feel like you are behind or you are unusual if this is the case. Even if students say, I'm definitely studying this, we know only 1 in 4 students are going to graduate with what they say they're interested in right now. So being undecided is perfectly normal and great to do. My recommendation for being undecided is just to think about, like, what are the areas that have always been of interest to you. Maybe thinking about the liberal arts in those broad categories. So the natural sciences, the social sciences, humanities, or even arts. And that before you arrive, or that academic planning on the website, on the guides, it gives you all of the departments in those broad areas. So I would go and check out what those departments are all about. The college catalog is a great way to get a quick description of a department. The other way to really explore broadly is to take 1 and 200 level courses, or to search by the GERs using the course atlas on the left-hand navigation. There are lots of options, including view by general education requirement. That'll really help you explore, and then you knock out GERs at the same time. So that would be my advice, is maybe taking courses from different general education requirement areas to round out your schedule.
The people who get credit for Calc A, you have to take Math 112Z, or can they just take Math 112?
Either. So A-B calculus comes in as Math 111. If you would like to continue with calculus, and that's a big if, up to you and why you might need it, then that would be 112. You can take the 112Z for first year students only, or a 112 course, which would have some upperclassmen in it too.
So there was a question earlier about students interested in business and taking the econ course, the
financial accounting
course.
All right, so let's talk about business, because we know there are a lot of students interested in business. First off, there are only a few prerequisites, maybe 5 or 6 total, and a lot of students might even get started with AP, IB, or previous college credits. So one question that comes up a lot, because with econ you have different options. Do I take business econ, which is 1 course in the business school, or do I take econ 101 and econ 112 in the college? So let's start. If you have AP or IB credits for one or the other of the econs, you'll take the other econ in the college. That's easy, one and done. If you think that you're going to be interested in studying econ or upper level econ courses, maybe that's a major or a double major, even if you go into the business school, I would probably recommend taking the Econ 101 and 112 series because we know then they'll count for the major. The other benefit of taking Econ 101 and 112, even though it's two courses, is that they count for general education requirements. They're both HSC GERs. The business econ course will count for the business prerequisite and will also count for credits, but it will not count for a GER. So that might be a way to start. Statistics, if you have AP statistics credit, it doesn't come in as QTM, but it does actually count for the business prerequisite, so that one's done. Same thing for math, calculus, if you have AP or IB credit, that will count as well. For students really, really, really interested in accounting, really interested in accounting, and I know you're out there, starting with financial accounting is probably recommended in that first or second semester, just so you can get a taste of it and know if that's something you want to continue with. But remember with the business school, you actually have 4 semesters to complete 5, maybe 6 courses. And so it's spread out. This is not something that you can or you will finish in one semester, even 1 year. You have that time to do this, and so you can really break these up apart into multiple semesters. There's a great PowerPoint, back to my favorite website, New Student Programs under Registration, about business. Actually, there are PowerPoints about being pre-health. Again, pre-health is that big umbrella, meaning you're interested in a career in healthcare, so that's medicine, nursing, dental. There's one on pre-health, there's one on the nursing school in particular, there's one on dual degree with engineering, there's one on the business school, and there's one on being pre-law. Please, please, please go through them. They ask the questions that you guys are asking. What are the prerequisites? What should I get started with? What do I get started with in my first semester? Is there advising available? So all of those burning questions will be answered. But for any of those programs, really, you're working on these prerequisite courses or things throughout your time at Emory. For this semester, it's just getting started in 1, maybe 2 courses to get you on the right track.
A question about getting into boys that are early if you finish the prerequisites by the end of your first year.
The very earliest you can apply is fall of your sophomore year to enter spring of your junior year. This question is answered specifically in that PowerPoint, so make sure you go through it. It gives you all the credits that you would need, but no, you cannot start earlier than second semester sophomore year.
A question from Hansa about AP credit fulfilling the first year writing requirement. Yes. So if you have that credit, we encourage you to use that credit. To go ahead and knock that first year writing.
Yeah, and in fact, if you have that credit, you have to use it for credit if you want it to count for the first year writing. And so that would be a definite for those 3 credits, you would pick that. If admission didn't post that score for credit, but something else, you're going to want to complete the admission swap form. So that first year writing absolutely does get done.
A question about if you're interested in a major, should you be worried about taking those classes in your first year? If there are certain kind of baseline classes, like if you're interested in a science major, you need to take Chem, certainly take Chem. But we also want you to explore and to figure out and to maybe take the introductory course to that major, because you may decide, yes, this is for me, or maybe I need to explore and look into a different field.
Yeah. I have nothing to add. Good job. Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to take just a few more questions as they're coming in over the next few minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see.
There was something about being on multiple tracks, so being pre-health or pre-business or dual degree. Again, all of those PowerPoints actually address that specific question, is it possible? Yes, it's possible, especially in this first or second year as you're taking courses and kind of figuring it out. Some people stay with multiple tracks throughout the entire time. It takes a lot of planning because there's not a lot of overlap between business and health. But some things like dual degree in health might have a lot of overlap. Pre-law, there are no prerequisites. So for now, it's getting started with 1 or 2 classes, and as you actually go through them and then continue to talk to advisors and peers, you're going to narrow this down. So we don't expect that you have it figured out right now. Please, we trust in us that we're telling you have time to figure this out. So keeping an open mind and exploring for now. will be really great.
Some questions about double majoring. So here are three options. If you're pursuing a major, you can have one major, you can have a major and a minor, you can have two majors. And so just understanding kind of what that process is. Some people want to have three majors, four majors, but know that for a college you want to graduate with two.
Yeah, and there's a reason behind that, right? We want you to explore broadly. That's what the general education requirements are for. But we also want you to explore deeply in one or two areas. If you're triple or quadruple majoring, you're never going to go deeply in one area. So that's why we limit you to two areas of concentration. If you end up going to the business school, again, you would earn a BBA, a Bachelor of Business Administration, 1 degree. You would be allowed to have a second major in the college, but you don't earn a BA or a BS from the college. You're only earning 1 degree. And we apologize, we have a mascot dog with us who's very excited about registration as well.
Do you have any information about federal work study and how that fits into schedules?
Yeah, so I've had a few questions about work study and again how that money might appear towards your tuition bill. So just know that federal work study is potential money that you could earn. It's not actually money that is already going towards your bill. During orientation, there will be a work study fair, job fair. So if you have a resume already, you want to make sure that you bring that to the fair. If you don't have a resume already, Google the Emory Career Center, and they have great documents on how to quickly put together a pretty good resume too. It's okay if you don't have work experience. Think about your high school clubs or other things that you've done, volunteering maybe. All of that is good experience for this first round of a resume. For most first-year students, probably you're only going to work 8 to 10 hours a week at most. And there are lots of different jobs on campus. So things like working at our PE center and swiping in cards. You could work in our library and restock books or help people get checked out. You could potentially even work in an academic department. Our office actually has work study students who help answer phones at our front desk. So there will be lots of different ways to go. I know in college I did work study all 4 years. It was an amazing experience to help me build my resume, to work with adults, which was really fun in college, and to get good experience. So yeah, there will be a fair, and just know that's potential money to earn, not money that's actually going to your bill. Some questions about whether or not you should enroll in something if your credits haven't been evaluated. For now, if you want to go ahead and enroll in a course, you can go ahead and do that, and hopefully your courses will be evaluated before you come to campus for orientation. You can always drop or make changes later. If, again, you already know what your AP or IB scores are, you can use that chart to know exactly whether or not you're going to earn credit or not. So there will be no surprises with AP or IB exams. International exams are a little bit different. A-levels, French bac, those things have to get evaluated individually. So that's why we don't have a chart for that. Any previous college credits, so things that went above and beyond your high school requirements, so not joint enrollment, but really dual enrollment, as long as they were taken on a college course, on a college campus, will get evaluated by admission. But they are going to have to look at your transcripts and a form to fill that out. So that's not an automated process either.
So some questions about the timing of appointments. What's most important is when you're registering for your classes. And so making sure you know exactly when you're registering for your classes is important. And to know that it's going to vary from the first date, August 13th, and then you have the August 14th appointment. And it's done to make sure that students have equal opportunity and access to times and courses that are available.
Yeah, so if you have an earlier appointment time on Monday, you're going to have a little bit of a later time on Tuesday and vice versa. These are all randomly assigned. And so unfortunately there's no checking, you don't have to worry about other people's times, you just got to log into OBIS. I would recommend logging in a few minutes early, but know that if your appointment is at 10 o'clock and you're there at 9:59 and you're trying to enroll, it says you don't have an enrollment appointment, so you do actually have to wait until 10 o'clock.
Question about the DBA and the QSS dual degree program.
Okay.
And do you actually get 2 degrees? How easy, difficult would that be?
That's a great question. You will need to talk to the BBA office and the QSS departments when you come to campus. And so, great shout out during orientation Saturday. There's something called an expo. All the departments will be there. There will also be an academic showcase on Monday with the departments, and so a great opportunity to talk to those faculty and how those fit together. This is a great chance just to talk about, well, we know a lot generally and can direct you. If you're going to have specific questions about departments or a school like the business school or nursing, please be expected to be referred to directly those departments or those schools, because people in those areas are going to be the experts. So that's not us passing the buck, that's us really trying to make sure that you're getting connected to the right resource and the right people. And any of these questions, these are awesome questions, so write them down. Be on the lookout for those department and faculty during orientation. They are ready and eager to meet you and to answer those questions specifically.
Awesome. So what we're going to do is one more time we're going to play the video about how to enroll in courses from the shopping cart. So you're ready to do that tomorrow. And then we'll just answer one or two more questions. We'll be here a little bit later just to answer and follow up on some questions, but we're going to start wrapping this up.
All appointment times are in Eastern Standard Time, EST. So Atlanta's in Eastern Standard Time. Actually, the whole state of Georgia is in Eastern Standard Time. So there it is for those of you in Central, Mountain, West Coast. Sorry, you got to get up a little bit earlier. For those of you overseas, maybe 5, 6, 13 hours later. But we do them in the morning actually to accommodate most people's schedules. So people should be up and at them. Remember, it's not going to take a lot of time on the first day, so you can get up early, do your registration for your 2 appointments, and go back to bed.
Can you take multiple classes in the same department? So I want to take 2 psych classes. Is that okay?
Yeah, absolutely. I probably wouldn't recommend taking 3 or 4 classes because you want to explore. But yeah, up to 2 in one semester, that's fine. When you become a major or a minor, you're absolutely going to take multiple courses. So if you're really sure about something, sure. Sometimes it's not possible with prerequisites, but keeping an open mind if there are 2 things that look interesting and they're both at that 1 or 200 level with no prereqs, that's okay.
Again, with permission numbers, it's really working with the department to figure out your permission to be able to get into those courses. If you need a number, whatever that looks like. We know the faculty may be in and out over the course of the summer, and so unfortunately you may have to wait a little bit for a response, but continue to be in contact with the departments because those are your best contacts for those particular questions.
So if there are any registration holds on your account, I've seen this question too, you need to click on the tasks in Opus. So log into your Opus homepage, click on tasks. It will tell you why you have a hold there and who you need to contact. For now, I would think the biggest reason why there would be a hold is because you didn't turn in your high school transcript. That's one reason. Tuition bills aren't due yet, so there won't be any financial holds for that. Michael said this before, health forms are not going to affect your fall registration, only your spring if they're not in, so there won't be there. But click on the tasks. If you cannot find the reason why you have a registration hold in the next hour, please email ec.orientation so we can dig around and help you figure that out.
So a question about dropping courses within the first enrollment period.
Yep.
And if that's a possibility.
Yeah, dropping in the first enrollment period might be a little bit hard because you are capped at 8 credits, and so you would be able to do a swap but not a drop. And potentially with swaps, it will only let you swap for the same credit hours, so 3 for 3 or 4 for 4. Once you get to Tuesday with the 19, you have a lot more flexibility. So then you can do the swaps. You will never be able to drop below 12 credit hours after Tuesday. And so sometimes if you're trying to drop something and it says, sorry, not enough credits, you're going to have to use that swap function, not the drop function. But Monday is a little bit tricky with the drops because you have to either do a direct swap for the same credits or just wait until Tuesday if it's not the class that you wanted. That was a great question, actually. They've all been really good questions.
All right, well, thank you all so much for being here and taking some time out. We wish you all the luck tomorrow. Again, we'll be here to answer questions throughout the day, and then we're also here again at 4 p.m. Eastern tomorrow to kind of answer your questions after your first enrollment appointment period. So please feel free to bring more questions, and we'll be here to answer.
And my imparting advice, you cannot mess up. We promise you. We know that this is new and different and exciting and scary. You are all going to do great. This is a process. This is only step one of many, many steps in the process. Yes, and can you see the dog, George? Come here. He's coming in. We'll try to get him. He'll be back maybe tomorrow at 4 too, just to say. But he's a good new student program ambassador as well.
Definitely. Yeah. Have a great night, y'all.
Bye, everyone.